All right.
So we can speak freely now.
Yes, so we just saw Inside Out. We got two special guests with us here tonight. We've got Joe and Mary. And Joe is probably our most appropriate guest so far, I would say, because he's actually related to the field of this specific film. Right. What's your formal title?
Yeah, I'm an art director in animation, so I do a lot of things: illustration, storyboarding, character design, concept art, writing.
And you guys
I love
actually
film and animation. That's where I work.
Yeah, you guys have actually had a film competing Academy Awards. Were y'all opposite a Pixar short that year?
Yeah, we actually beat Pixar for our Academy Award.
So Joe's better than
Pixar.
Is what
That's what we're trying to get.
That's what we were trying to be subtle about.
That's why he's on the show and not someone else.
Pete Docter. Yeah.
Who wants him?
Did y'all turn him down, actually?
He's left me so many voicemails. I kind of feel bad for him. It's like, quit embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
But we saw Inside Out.
Inside Out. It was good.
It was.
Pixar's back, in a way. For me, it kind of captured the magic of a lot of their more famous films that we still watch today, like Finding Nemo and Up. And this was a very unique idea. It was outside the box.
Very clever. It was very well executed.
Out.
It could have been, if you think about the concept, it could be so many things that they could have, bitten off more than they could chew with just all the directions they could have gone. But I thought they contained it really well. And
what was it, the abstract thought room or whatever? That was great.
That's where I got revved back up into it.
Yeah.
It's I started thinking, as artists and filmmakers, how hard must it have been for them to whittle down where to go in that avenue.
See, I would
studying
have been
the psyche.
Lost.
I know, I would have just made a movie about that.
So many different ways.
There's sort of an amazing amount of discipline in choosing an idea that's really so many infinite possibilities, and they kind of talked about that in the Q&A. We went to a special screening, I guess we should say. It was the Insider Access.
We're with the Oscar winners, so everywhere we go.
There's a Q&A afterwards, so there was some good kind of insight into how they made the film.
Yeah.
What really stuck with me is I thought that because of the actors, especially cast for the main characters in her mind, so many NBC show actors that were very prominent, and we all know so well, I thought I'd be kind of stuck on that. But I didn't think about their faces or the actors' personalities.
Yeah, after the first 5 minutes, I got lost in them. When they first each had a line, I was like, oh, that's Mindy Kaling. I placed them and then I forgot.
I completely forgot about Bill Hader.
Yeah.
And I love Bill Hader. So I was worried about, that's Bill Hader. But he just started to blend in and you didn't think about any of it. And then Bing Bong.
Oh, Bing Bong.
Bing Bong.
I didn't even see that coming, and then he slid off the back of that wagon.
Oh, man.
I got teary-eyed.
I was like,
we're allowed to spoil this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Spoiler
spoil the hell out of it.
Bing Bong died!
At first, I didn't know how long you'd be around. I was like, I'm really going with Bing Bong.
Yeah.
There's some Shakespearean shit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Like any good Pixar classic, you get a little teary-eyed towards the end.
Yeah.
It hit some notes.
Bing Bong reminded me of the sad John Candy, from planes, trains, and automobiles. He just wants to be your friend, but you feel bad for him, and
But it struck kind of a brilliant note, which is you're dealing with the emotions of a child, and it's kind of goes where Toy Story 3 does a little bit with nostalgia and the idea of growing up and kind of the sadness involved in that. And
I like the people who came and cleaned the memories that need numbers,
because
they're
killed me.
They're they have the cell phone, they don't need that. And then the presidents are they need George Washington, Lincoln, they got rid of all that stuff. They got rid of all the piano except for chopsticks.
And
one other.
I love those little bean characters. I call them beans because they look like beans.
They did look like beans.
And how they did the dreams and how they were just dressed up and they put in a filter.
Yeah. What was the reality distortion?
Oh yeah, they were acting really badly.
Yeah.
And they had the teeth falling. They just dropped. Yeah. Really clever.
What's great too is in a serious topic when they're going through these subjects, it's always, at least in animated films in the last few years, people play it super safe. They try to keep it serious and sentimental, and these guys were just slapping you with comedy that was crazy hilarious because it's so true.
Right.
Like you go into the fear zone, and what's going to be at the very end, trapped in the fear zone, is a giant, scary-ass clown.
Right.
Totally.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
And
And
it's also
for a laugh.
Yeah.
like you can kind of tell that they spend years making these and whittling these stories down, because it's not like, oh, they just go in the fear room and there's a clown, she's scared of clowns, but they have to use the clown to scare her awake, and like everything's really connected well.
And primarily takes place in a little 11-year-old girl's mind, but they showed the minds of the parents, and then after the credits, you had the dog and the cat. But I love seeing other people's heads. Like, I love seeing the boy's head when she bumps into him, and it's just like, they just can't even handle it. Like, that's how I feel now when I run into a girl still. I was like, how they know? And the cat thing, jeez.
Like, it's still...
Their gags were so on point.
I know.
Yeah, the jokes were all so good, and they seem so simple, but I think it's like you said, Joe, like, they are so true that you're like... You can't help but insert your own memories and experiences growing up, kind of, as you're watching this, and you're kind of analyzing your own emotions and everything they do. It just makes you laugh because it rings so true.
I would never expect that in a part of a film called Imagination Land with a big cloud people and police, they got a Chinatown joke in there. Said, forget about it, Jake, it's Cloud City or whatever. Yes. Which is like a great play on Chinatown,
also,
and they snuck it in there.
Like a hat and a wink at the...
Yeah.
I love how kind of zany it gets at a point at the end, the climax, like the way she solves her problem of getting to back to the headquarters is to have a stack of imaginary boyfriends and get a ladder out of them. Like one of the most insane plot points you could come up with.
Yeah, I did not expect that to come back into play.
You don't see that come. You can't. There's no reason you would expect that to come into play.
There's sardonic minds behind this stuff. So we all agree we didn't like the movie?
No, it's terrible. I want my money back.
I loved those little side conversations that weren't even the main point, like the two police officer beans guarding
with their
that
hats.
room,
arguing
about their hats.
Yeah,
It's such a dramatic moment.
That was like an Abbott and Costello
They have
type
to rescue
thing.
him to
Like,
get
who's
back
on first?
to the girl, and it's like one of the most important moments in the whole story. And you hear this quiet, echoey dialogue about, "That's my hat." No.
You know what I noticed too on credits? Who played one of those police beans? Flea.
Yeah, yeah.
Red Hot
Well,
Chili
he's in all kinds of weird things. He's in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He's in Back to the Future 2, I think.
So, because it's something that I always probably super critical of and scrutinizing, and in seeing the trailers to this, there was so much color and so much primary color in the graphics and in the poster and in the trailers. What do you guys think of all the visuals? I mean, there's so much going on. There's like the little particles that they're made out of, and then there's the world that they built.
It made me think. It reminded me of what was that animated movie with the video game one?
Is that the weird
the Disney Wreck-It Ralph?
yeah.
It made me think of that. I recently watched that for the first time, so maybe that's why. But it was like the Candyland and all that kind of came back, all these imaginary theme park worlds. And I was afraid when they first introduced that idea that, oh great, these are all just set pieces for little action sequences or something. But it didn't really come to that the way I thought it might.
Well,
which I appreciated.
I really liked like the kind of darker elements, like even like in color it's darker, but like when they go down and they get caught with all those forgotten memories, like
that was gorgeous.
Looked really pretty.
That actually, the visuals of the absence of color actually stood out more.
And they were just
all the
shadow, and they had these, it was...
That's what tells me that they were gutsy filmmakers, is that in that situation, typically, you never want to go, let's go all gray and dark.
Right.
For what, 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
but they did it.
It was interesting, too, when they went into that room and they started, like, decompressing.
Yeah.
So they went to, like, this cubism thing.
And they deconstructed
space.
Right.
2D.
And that's super inventive, and like how they had to like jump up to get to the door.
That may have been the smartest gag in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which there's like some
I
video games
have
now
no
that are
depth,
like that.
and then
over.
And then, just the whole idea that you can't just ignore sadness, you need it sometimes. Like, things come from sadness, whether it's nostalgia or you can't just you just can't paint a happy life the whole time.
Which was one of my fears with the kind of general concept. Like, I didn't know too terrible much about the movie, but I knew kind of the premise, and I'm like, well, I hope it's not just 5 emotions and we're gonna like see all these different characterizations of these 5 emotions, but the message is that there aren't really 5 emotions. They're all kind of intersected. Everything comes together in a big mess.
Right.
It's also not patronizing. Like, there's rules. There's clear rules about how they control things and their setup and the memories and all that. But you sort of glean that from seeing them go through it. And it's never really explained to you.
Right. There's no scene of here's how the HQ works.
Right.
Yeah.
And when this person's at the helm pushing this button, they don't have to explain that because you eventually just understand.
And that made that, typically that would be the kind of, element that I wouldn't enjoy. Is they had to come up with this whole thing to make it work. And so they have something to do. But it's because it wasn't
you would never stop explaining things if you started.
Because it was natural. I had no problem with all that.
The only thing that I caught that I was kind of like, why doesn't she just put what were they called? The special memories, those little files.
The core memories.
Core memories. Okay, so remember when she first got lost and they pushed that bubble gum commercial back into the wall and it went back into headquarters? Right then I go, why did she just do that with all of them?
Oh, wow. I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah,
you're right.
Mary always finding the loopholes.
That's actually a major loophole.
Then the movie would have ended.
I was like, oh, baby, that's what
they wouldn't have gone back, but it would have solved the immediate problem of her running away.
She should let me see the movie.
Mary's just, film police.
Yeah.
You get a ticket.
Good, fine.
I hate the movie now.
It changed everything. I wish the Q&A was still going on. I'd tweet a question about that. Hey, smart guy.
Hey, why didn't you really make any sense?
You see the doctor curl up into a fetal position and cry.
No, 5 years of workshopping this idea. We missed one. No. You kind of get the sense that Pixar is like that. It's kind of, it seems hardcore.
The one guy works in a taqueria. What?
That's what happens when you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
How many more Academy Awards does it take to get to that?
They never come with a cash prize.
Damn.
I feel like we need to get a little more of your animator insight while we got you. I don't know what to ask you.
How'd you feel about that intro when they were this before the movie? They were doing some sort of
Which street are y'all on? Sorry, real quick. It's on the left.
Yeah, it's going to be the next slide.
And they were talking about the storyboard process, and they showed that little.
I love that storyboard.
Yeah,
it's great.
So they showed in Pixar one of Joe Ranft. His little joke about storyboarding and what it's like, and that's pretty classic. That's been published in many books, and that phrase storyboarding is storyboarding. You call it that for a reason, because you redraw everything over and over again. That's become sort of a mantra in animation and filmmaking, and a cliche in a good way.
I've never storyboarded one of my movies, so I should probably start doing that.
I'm amazed that it says they took 3 years just in the storyboard process.
Yeah, that's what I mean when it's I get the impression that's a hardcore.
That's probably how they landed all their jokes. Everything is a riddle.
Yeah, their humor is perfect.
When he said he had 10 movies worth. But what's funny is that they develop some new piece of technology or technical process every single film. They give themselves an objective or a goal, a hurdle. And this one, I think, was the sort of particles on the characters and them not actually being a solid surface.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell what avenue they go down to do that because I work with a lot of technical artists, but I can never figure out how to do that. And that's incredible. And to know that they had maybe 6 months or a year for so many people to develop that alone in a 5-year process, that's impressive as hell.
Yeah, it's such a subtle thing too. It's something we can appreciate looking at, dissecting it, but it's dude, does that really sink in with kids watching? 90% of the audience, does it? All these little details, I guess it averages out to make it amazing, but it's most people don't notice most of these things.
You'll see, and like you talked about in the commentary, that the anger character, he sits there and starts getting angry, and then the particles start sizzling faster and more wildly.
Yeah, and I didn't specifically notice that until he said it.
But you feel it,
yeah.
And that little bit of just a little bit of enhancement by feeling it, not really calling it out, probably took 2 to 3 people 6 months of their life to do, just so you get that little bit of extra. The other thing that stood out to me was the character design. A lot of times in these films they'll do simple shape based. They were talking about Joy being a star,
which is cool in the abstraction thing. When she broke down, she kind of was a star for me.
That was taking you through a character designer's process.
Yeah, that was cool.
But usually it feels like it's unnecessary to me. In my opinion, in character design, they'll say, we need to break down the characters. Which is a square, which is a circle, which is a triangle.
Sure, I could see, with just you saying that, it's I picked out the emotions right.
But in this one, it makes sense, because there's such base things. The characters represent
because they're primary colors, too.
So you really want them to pull, So this is where I think the color and shape design lends itself to the way character designers do it nowadays. And I think that's a testament to Pete Docter being a good director, probably, is that he knows, like, grab onto that convention.
Interesting. We got our money's worth with that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you're here for.
I also thought the music was really good.
Yeah.
It stood out in several parts. I liked the kind of like, it's kind of like scratchy, kind of
Yeah,
decompressing.
it kind of sizzled and popped.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a speaker or not.
No, I think
I'm
that was
pretty sure it was on
intentional.
purpose because there were some strings and some bells.
When
playing
they're
on
down
top
in
of
the
it.
in the black
was-
space,
it's like,
it
wait.
went really nice with it.
Yeah.
I wonder how difficult that must have been to get, past their producers.
Sure. I want to
Blaster or
dirty it up.
whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And say, like, oh, this music sounds kind of shitty, but it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone go, nah, people won't get it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they
But
had
it
that
went
line that was
hand
almost
in
like the
hand.
Joker's,
Yeah, the scratchy.
the
Yeah.
scratchy chord.
All these things show so much attention to detail.
It's
And
insane.
It's
I'm sure
exhausting
that
to think
means
about
we
as
have
a
to watch it
filmmaker.
again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure, like he said afterwards, or I guess Amy Poehler might have said it, you'll catch something different every single time.
Evan or Amy Poehler. I get them confused too.
Are we
I do too. Which one's funny?
not me. But I'm the woman.
Okay, that's right.
Yes.
But what shape are you?
The shape of a penis.
There's our penis joke.
Oh, can we
Thanks,
talk
Got
about
it
the
in?
short
Do you have to
film?
get one in every... Oh, yeah, there's a short
Oh,
film
God.
before.
Oh, lava. Yeah.
Lava. Yeah.
Very
What do you
sweet.
think of that?
Let me tell you what I think. I think you could have taken out the lyrics to that song, and it would have been amazing. And we could have gotten.
How did it take
Because
away
it was
from-
like talking whatever, and Joe leans over to Mary with his little thing, and I was like, I know what I'm supposed to feel. I didn't like he was telling me, because
I felt like that's kind of what it was. Like that's all it was, though. Like
They
it
were
was so
definitely
simple.
going for the camp of
Yeah.
saying it. I do
Yes,
think
that's probably why.
the level of detail they put in that and the quality of finished everything, even though it's just very simple. It's like
Sure.
an island or two in the
liked
ocean.
Yeah, you could tell they put a lot of work
Clouds.
into
I
it.
liked the passage of time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was really
That was
Like
cool.
if you had done that in 2D and drawn that film, it's not impressive on its own, but the details and the technology it probably took to create that
atmosphere.
Right.
is incredibly impressive. And
Yeah.
that's another thing they do. They use their short films to develop technology as well. So they probably enhanced their clouds and got particle stuff with trees on an island. To make that inexpensive is ridiculous.
And it's a great sort of. That's great. I love that they do that at Pixar.
Yeah.
Like
I-
that's a cool side effect of them developing their technology
Yeah.
or whatever it is that you get these cool little shorts they put in front of
I
stuff.
love that Joe laughed when the female volcano came up and was facing the other direction.
Yeah.
That was a
And
good
the-
joke.
It was
I
good.
thought it
And the
was
male
funny.
volcano's like,
Go-
and Joe just,
He was the one guy. It did
Yeah.
in
the
the
one
theater.
person in the theater.
It was a
like
good
the
joke, though.
heartbreaking-
Yeah.
It was good.
I wasn't
God.
expecting
Dark,
it.
you know?
I was like, wait, turn.
Well,
No,
because
no,
it's so
no.
cheesy and
No,
happy, and you're
sorry.
expecting it to
Because
come
you're
together.
expecting it.
Well, can you imagine pitching that to an audience like, let's show children this idea?
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
never get what you want. You're
Right.
gonna die.
Right.
Right.
You're going down, volcano.
It's beautifully ironic and hilarious, just like life. And when the first time that mountain opened up his dumb face,
Oh yeah,
That killed me,
was.
too.
I just started.
it's charming
laughing.
design, so funny.
It
Yeah.
was a happy little volcano.
And he ended up getting what he wanted, but I like that they teased you that he was
They-
not gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
it. Shit.
Yeah. It was so sad.
And then I leaned over to Joe and I said, I hope they end it right there.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
He's drowning and she doesn't see him.
I think that thematically, though, that kind of matched up with Inside Out a little bit. It's like emotions aren't as simple
Yeah.
as you think they're going to be.
Absolutely.
Especially for kids' movie. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a kids' movie.
Yeah, the message to walk away with is like, yeah, it's okay to be sad. Shut up.
Right.
Right.
That's pretty.
You need.
that's
It was like
cool.
it's not even that it's okay. It's that you like even need it. Like,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to be sad to be happy, which
Yeah.
is a very complicated message for kids.
I liked the parents too, because that's what she's like. You know, we need you to be happy right now.
Yeah,
Like,
they
that
they
shows-
explicitly
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, kids need to show emotions. Like you don't need to hide that kind of stuff.
And that's something that's hard to do, just from a writing standpoint, as you guys know. You want to have character without saying it to the audience, say the theme.
Right.
And if you don't notice it, if it's buried in there nicely, it's successful. And that's kind of nice.
That's a huge
Yeah,
job.
and that big cry led to the, you know that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that
Yeah, it
was
was
like
a
the
subtle
happy,
thing,
yeah.
yeah.
and that was what
Which
it
I think
she
animators
needed was
are
the
gonna
big
just be studying that too.
sigh,
Sure.
you know.
I also love how when Joy and Sad were missing, she kind of became like a zombie. It's like you take these two core emotions out of the picture and she can't operate. Like I thought that The way the parallels of what's going on in her head and the real
Were you
world
guys
look
doing
really
the same
nice.
thing as I was doing? As soon as I saw that, I thought, okay, I want to read how she acts without joy and sadness, but she still has fear, she still has anger. How do you act if you only have that in your head?
Right, because you're setting up this, you're drawing attention to it.
Right.
They're like, okay, now she's a different thing.
Which is great, totally engaging.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're just
They're
kind
shooting
of
themselves in the foot.
You're not sure where to go, and you're just kind of swinging at things, and it's not. That's
he has
me.
no happiness.
Yeah.
That's me every day. I'm just
No
like,
sadness or joy. Just right. in the
I'm
middle
mad that
somewhere.
I'm so scared.
I did think the choice of emotions was interesting. They kind of went into that in the Q&A, how they were like all these different psychologists thought they were different things, but I couldn't help but thinking like disgust was kind of out of left field. Like it's like that disgust before like love or laughter or like
Yeah.
Hate.
I'm sure they went through.
You could be.
I'm sure that they've arrived to those for very specific reasons. It could have just been about joy and sad,
That's true.
It's really
And
their story, and the other three were just kind of in the background.
Yeah, I heard an interview where Pete Docter said that having 5 rounds out a team nicely because there's enough for dissension. So it's like having 12 Angry Men. As good as that is, it's hard to remember, keep track of all those characters and all of their differences at once. Where 5, you can ping back and forth.
I thought it was interesting too that for all the other people that you saw the brains of, their 5 emotions dressed like the person.
Yeah.
But not the main characters.
Yeah.
Her anger was not dressed like a woman. It was still the guy with the tie. But everybody else.
It's also interesting that each emotion still wanted the best for the kid, even though if they were going about it the wrong way. They're like,
they weren't
it's not
constantly
working.
fighting. They're all working towards the same goal, but in their own way.
Yeah.
I also thought it was interesting, they didn't want the emotions to look like people, just while they're all fiery. But the dog and cat looked like dog and cats.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
funny.
Yeah.
Also, I've noticed the cats seemed really poorly animated. I wonder if that was like a last minute. The way
Maybe
it
that's
looked
why
really
they're
cheap
credits.
to me. Like all of a sudden,
I think
That was
that's
probably
a last minute
their
thing.
junior team.
Yeah.
They said, we'll give them a
Y'all do the
credit.
credits.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for all you know, they
Big
started on
break.
those dog and cat gags like a month ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
Put
And they're like,
them in there.
quick, we only have these crappy models. We bought them online.
Yeah.
Right.
Does that cover everything?
You feel good?
I feel pretty good. I think that was a good episode.
We got our
Yeah.
lanyards.
That was, oh yeah,
our
second
lanyards.
screening in a row. We got landed. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There's fancy posters.
Show them to the camera.
All right.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's what you get by paying the premium to go on a Tuesday instead of a
On a
Friday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
You get 50 Disney movie rewards, bonus points towards cool stuff.
Does that
And all I have
translate
to
to like
do
an
is
eighth of a
to
movie?
go to a website and type in 9NXGND.
Don't tell
No,
them.
no,
You just lost your
empty of
50
cool
Disney
stuff.
points. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
Had a wonderful
it was a
time.
pleasure.
We'd love to have you back sometime
That was fun. That was super fun.
on the next animated movie.
Yes.
You can only do
Hey,
animation.
I don't want to become a one-trick pony.
Yeah.
What about ours?
That's
Gotta
all
mix
you
it up
do.
here.
All right, guys.
All right, y'all have a
Alright.
good
Thanks,
one.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you soon.
All
See you
right.
soon.
We like y'all's posters.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would have left it in the theater for sure. All right.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad that we actually like paired one up for once with like the appropriate person.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
It could be
technically-
wacky if we were like, we have a paleontologist
Right.
for Jurassic World.
We should have though. That would be awesome. If we
Yeah,
did.
it'd be funny. It could be funny. We had like a security guard cop from Paul Blart, like a mall cop.
How that would make the show so much better. Everybody
Yeah.
watching right now is like, yes, you should have gotten a
It's like,
security
hey,
guard.
well, that's how
A
it's
mall
like.
cop.
Yeah. Most of the time at the mall.
What, do we,
Yeah.
should we
What
so what do we
would be
do
the
for
next one?
Ant-Man? Do we get some ants? What's a guy that studies ants?
I was just saying nerd, but no, there are people who study ants, and,
And if
I'm
you're
sure they're
interested-
probably very smart and well qualified, and make
Like
a
how
lot
you're-
more money than I do.
Are you
Yeah,
backpedaling on this?
because I want to find one to do this. So, or we could go the super comic book fan route and find like, a big. It'd
we
be
get-
hard to find a big time Ant-Man fan.
Yeah.
But Ant-Man is.
What would be great is to get what's his face that was supposed to direct it at first. Do you have his number?